What if African countries allow the Middle Eastern oil-rich countries to come and mine their natural resources? In that way, African countries can sell their natural resources and finished products at international market prices rather than offer them to European countries at cheap rates. But the point is that no robust trade and mining deals have been done between Africa and the Middle East until now. Just recently, a groundbreaking deal was made between Congo and the United Arab Emirates that has literally changed everything. Billions of dollars would be invested in Congo's mining sector, especially gold, making its industry autonomous. But what are these deals in reality, and how have they shocked the Western markets, provoking emergency visits? This is the interesting story of the Middle East coming to Congo for cooperation, turning the tables forever. Let's get started. So, what has happened between the UAE and Congo? The United Arab Emirates has successfully concluded negotiations for a comprehensive bilateral trade agreement with the Republic of the Congo. Thani Al-Zayudi, the UAE Minister of Trade, shared this news, emphasizing the expanding reach of the UAE's trade network to Africa. Al-Zayudi highlighted that the agreement, named the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CPA, with the Republic of Congo-Brazzaville, mirrors the thriving economy of West Central Africa and shows the significant trade and investment partnership between the two nations. The UAE, a major global oil exporter and OPEC member, has actively pursued comprehensive economic partnership agreements since 2021, aiming to diversify income sources and economic sectors. The previous week, the UAE achieved a historic milestone by finalizing trade talks with Mauritius, marking its first-ever trade agreement with an African country. But before we get into that, first know about the deals done with Congo. Al-Zayudi pointed out the positive trend in bilateral cooperation, with non-oil trade between the UAE and the Republic of Congo growing by 134% in the first half of 2023, compared to the same period in 2022, reaching $2.1 billion. That's the exposure Congo needed desperately earlier to reach international markets and sell its goods. According to local media reports, upon ratification and implementation, the agreement seeks to reduce or eliminate tariffs, remove unnecessary trade barriers, enhance market access, improve customs procedures, and establish platforms for private sector investment and cooperation in strategic sectors. Out of this, the removal of tariffs is the biggest benefit that Congo can benefit from. Instead of making it difficult for markets in the UAE to import from Congo, no taxes would be applied on imported goods. Jean-Baptiste Ondaye, Congo's Minister of Economy and Finance, expressed confidence that the strategic partnership agreement would make a significant contribution to financing structural projects in Congo. You should know that the UAE's pursuit of comprehensive economic partnership agreements aligns with its overarching strategy to diversify revenue streams and stimulate growth across various economic sectors. The UAE and the Republic of Congo have finalized the terms of a comprehensive economic partnership agreement and are set to leverage it to enhance their growing trade relationship. Congo, situated in West Central Africa, ranked as the 12th largest trading partner of the UAE among non-Arab African countries in 2022. The UAE holds the 8th largest export market position for Congo and the 13th largest import market, representing around 72% of Congo's non-oil trade with Arab countries. UAE's trade minister expressed anticipation for ushering in this new era of cooperation and expanding our presence in Africa as a trusted partner and investor. What's more, in June, Abu Dhabi Ports Group secured a 30-year concession agreement to operate the multi-purpose new East Mole terminal in Pointe-Noire, Congo, with plans to invest over $500 million. Over the past decade, the UAE has emerged as the largest investor in Africa among GCC members, according to figures released last year by the law firm White & Casey. The UAE's SEPA program aligns with its ambitions to increase exports by 33% and contribute over 153 billion United Arab dirhams to the national GDP by 2031. Al-Zayudi highlighted the significant role trade has played in the past 12 months, acting as a record-setting driver of growth, a pillar of economic policy, a linchpin of foreign relations, and a new front in the battle against climate change. Congo-Brazzaville, a thriving economy in West Central Africa, serves as a crucial trade destination and gateway to wider Africa for UAE exporters. Simultaneously, the UAE provides a vital connection to the Gulf and Asian markets. Al-Zayudi expressed anticipation for the new era of cooperation and expanding the UAE's presence in Africa. Jean-Baptiste Ondeye of Congo-Brazzaville expressed confidence in the Strategic Partnership Agreement, stating, "I have no doubt that the Strategic Partnership Agreement with the United Arab Emirates that we have just concluded today will greatly contribute to the financing of structuring projects in Congo." Well, besides the trade agreement, we have seen deeper collaboration between the two countries. So, what mining agreements have been made between the UAE and Congo recently? Earlier, the Democratic Republic of Congo was actively seeking partners for the world's largest hydropower project and expected increased mining investments from the United Arab Emirates as the Central African nation prepared for the December elections. Previous discussions had encountered obstacles in the development of the 44-gigawatt Grand Inga project with Australian billionaire Andrew Forrest and his company Fortescue Future Industries. President Felix Tshisekedi shared with reporters in New York that other potential partners were interested in the project. It wasn't impossible that at that time we could have seen a kind of consortium developing around the World Bank, Chinese investors, maybe Europeans. Alongside Fortescue, he mentioned it on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday. Tshisekedi had anticipated a meeting with Fortescue that week as the company aimed to develop a green hydrogen project in Congo. In addition to hydropower, he advocated for carbon credits to protect the world's second-largest tropical forest and investment in critical green energy minerals, including copper and cobalt, as Congo held the title of the world's biggest producer of cobalt. Abu Dhabi-based Primera Group Limited had planned to increase investments in those two metals after initiating a gold venture with the government in January, Tshisekedi stated. The group had also been planning to produce tantalum, tin, and tungsten in partnership with a state mining company. These plans signaled an openness to new investors beyond the Chinese and European companies that had previously dominated most of Congo's mining and telecom industries. He said that the UAE could soon offer development programs in education and had already provided equipment and training to the nation's soldiers, assisting in repelling a recent offensive by the M23 rebel group in eastern Congo. The conflict had plagued resource-rich eastern Congo for decades, and animosity between its government and neighbor Rwanda had raised fears of wider fighting. Congo accused Rwanda of supporting M23, a claim Kigali denied. Congo's government was also in the process of renegotiating a $6.2 billion minerals for infrastructure contract with China that Tshisekedi said would result in a new adventure between the two countries. China's domination of Congo's copper and cobalt mines had become a concern for Western governments worried about access to key minerals for batteries. Now, there is another player, the UAE. The Democratic Republic of Congo has finalized a $1.9 billion agreement with a state mining company from the United Arab Emirates to develop at least 4 mines in the tumultuous eastern region of the African country. The office of Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi reported that a delegation from the Emirati government had signed a $1.9 billion partnership with Société Aurifère du Kivu et du Maniema or Sakima in the capital, Kinshasa. According to the statement, the deal included the construction of more than 4 industrial mines in the provinces of South Kivu and Maniema. Sakima, a Congolese parastatal, holds mining concessions with deposits of tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold in the volatile eastern part of the country. This new deal follows the DRC's signing of a 25-year contract with the UAE firm Primera Group in December, granting export rights for certain artisanally mined ores. The contract bestowed Primera Group a majority stake in 2 joint ventures, Primera Gold and Primera Metals. These ventures received preferential export rates for artisanally mined gold, coltan, tin, tantalum, and tungsten, the so-called 3T metals. This shows that secretly the UAE is entering Africa's mining industry without leaving any traces for the Western world. Primera Gold commenced operations in South Kivu province in January, and by May had shipped 1 ton of certified gold, according to the Congolese Finance Ministry. But have there been any agreements on gold trade? The Executive Office of the Committee for Goods and Materials of the UAE conducted virtual discussions with officials from the Democratic Republic of the Congo to strengthen cooperation between the two nations in organizing gold trade according to industry best practices. The virtual meeting also included the UAE Embassy in Kinshasa. Haza Al-Qatani, UAE non-resident ambassador to the DRC, expressed contentment with the well-established relations between the UAE and the African nation across various sectors. He noted that both countries are advancing towards a strategic partnership that serves the interests of their people. Al-Qatani highlighted that the bilateral meeting focused on establishing standards for regulating gold trade, underscoring the high level of coordination between the two friendly countries. Talal Mohammed Al-Tanaiji, director of the Executive Office for the Committee, conveyed appreciation for the efforts of specialists from both countries. He commended the role of customs and expressed hopes for achieving the desired results in regulating gold trade and fostering reconciliation in other areas. The meeting, attended by representatives from Dubai Customs, Dubai Multi-Commodities Center, and Dubai Exports, was organized based on the shared belief of both countries in establishing standards and mechanisms for gold trade to enhance the volume of trade and investment exchange. This gold trade deal is a major step toward ending gold smuggling that costs Congo a lot. Officially, only 26 kilos of artisan gold were exported from the DRC throughout 2021, while unauthorized miners extracted an estimated 20 tons. The difference shows that the remaining quantity was smuggled out of Congo, making a huge dent on Congo's revenues and tax collection. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. The partnership's objective is to export a ton of certified gold monthly, with plans to increase it to 15 tons annually. Primera identified 30,000 artisanal miners in the eastern part of the country willing to supply gold in exchange for regular earnings and access to healthcare and education for their families. That's when concerns are raised. Taking tons of gold in return for offering only basic necessities seems a subtle form of exploitation. Therefore, Congo has to ensure that any agreement on gold trade should be fair for both parties, unlike what has happened between African and European countries' agreements. However, President Tshisekedi described the deal with the Abu Dhabi-based partner as exactly the type of partnership I had sought with our neighbors. After coming so close to the Middle East, will this allow Congo to be a bigger player in the OPEC? Earlier, Angola made public its decision to leave the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, due to disagreements over production quotas. This announcement came in the wake of OPEC's recent resolution to further decrease output for the upcoming year. However, in contrast to Angola's move, the Republic of the Congo expressed its ongoing commitment to OPEC. Bruno Jean-Richard Itoa, the Congolese Minister of Hydrocarbons, confirmed this dedication shortly after Angola's withdrawal from the Oil Producers Organization. In a statement, Itoa stressed, "The Republic of Congo reiterates its steadfast commitment to the strategic policy outlined by the Secretary-General of OPEC and OPEC+. We strongly support the efforts to stabilize and promote sustainable development of the oil markets, a crucial approach for the future of our sector and the global economy." Despite being a poor nation, Congo accepted to lower oil production instead of increasing it to earn more revenues. Furthermore, Nigeria restated its loyalty to OPEC. Heineken Lokpobiri, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, affirmed that Nigeria's position within the organization remained firm. All this suggests that only China and Russia are not entering the African continent. The Middle Eastern countries have also entered the continent, increasing competition to win allies. In other words, this is quite different from what happened in the past. Earlier, African countries had to go to developed countries to cooperate. However, this time, countries are coming to win allies in Africa by offering fair trade agreements and equal benefits. But is Congo the only African country the UAE is reaching? Well, no. The United Arab Emirates and Mauritius have solidified the terms of a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, marking a significant milestone as the first such agreement between the UAE and an African nation. This development lays the groundwork for increased trade and investment flows, along with enhanced collaboration between the two countries in the private sector. You should know that the deal between the UAE and Mauritius occurred before the deal with Congo. The conclusion of negotiations, achieved within just 4 months of the initial round of talks, was officially confirmed through the signing of a joint statement in Mauritius. The key signatories were Dr. Thani bin Ahmed Al Zayudi, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration, and International Trade of Mauritius. With a foundation rooted in almost 5 decades of diplomatic ties and recent collaborations, such as the opening of the Dubai office of the Mauritius Economic Development Board, the CEPA will cover various aspects, including trade in goods and services, investment facilitation, and more. Upon implementation, it is anticipated to spark substantial growth in non-oil bilateral trade between the UAE and Mauritius, which stood at $63.1 million in the first half of 2023 alone. Promising opportunities have been identified in sectors like chemicals, metals, and petroleum products. Mauritius, recognized as one of the most promising economies in Africa, achieved an impressive 8.5% GDP growth in 2022, the fastest in 35 years. With its services sector constituting 67% of its GDP, the country presents significant potential for UAE businesses specializing in telecommunications, computer and information services, travel, transport, and financial services seeking expansion into the African region. The agreement, complete with criteria for targeted investment facilitation, is expected to attract foreign direct investment into sectors such as fintech, healthcare, and tourism. Something should be noticed here. The increase in foreign investment in African countries is not due to the specific deals made with selected countries. However, after the deals, competition to invest in Africa increases, attracting more companies and countries. Before formalizing the joint CEPA statement, Al-Zayudi engaged in discussions with Hemraj Ramneil, chairman of the Mauritius Economic Development Board. Following this, he met with Prime Minister Pravin Kumar Jugnauth and Deputy Prime Minister Louis Stephen Obegado, who also serves as the Minister of Housing and Land Use Planning and Minister of Tourism. These discussions revolved around the numerous opportunities arising from the bilateral agreement and its potential to drive trade and investment between the two countries. Expressing satisfaction with the conclusion of negotiations, Al-Zayudi highlighted Mauritius's strategic location in the Indian Ocean and its growth-oriented economic vision, aligning with the UAE's objectives. He underscored the substantial benefits the CPA could offer to both nations, not only by boosting trade flows but also by creating avenues for strategic investment, private sector collaboration, academic cooperation, and support for small and medium-sized enterprises. Gobin, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration, and International Trade of Mauritius, anticipates that the CEPA will improve the business climate, remove trade impediments, and foster joint ventures, movement of professionals, and participation in regional value chains. He was eager to collaborate with the UAE to develop and implement such strategies. The UAE's CEPA program plays a pivotal role in the nation's growth strategy, aiming for 4 trillion dirhams or $1.8 trillion in total trade value by 2031 and doubling the size of the wider economy by 2030. The program includes signed deals across the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, and Latin America, including almost a quarter of the world's population. The UAE-Mauritius CEPA is expected to enter into force following the successful ratification process by both sides. So, what's the future of the Arab world and Africa's cooperation? Gulf countries are increasingly taking on a more substantial role in Africa's development, propelled by several compelling factors indicating deeper and enduring partnerships. These partnerships are anticipated to be established at the governmental level, positioning Gulf nations and their companies at the forefront of Africa's future. You should know that the recent reduction in Chinese investment in Africa from $60 billion to $40 billion has created a funding gap, allowing Gulf countries to expand their presence and exert soft power influence. Notably, investment between the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, and Africa has been significantly one-sided. Over the past decade, the GCC invested over $100 billion in Africa, while African investment in the GCC amounted to only $3 billion, primarily concentrated in North Africa. However, due to the impact of COVID-19, the Ukraine conflict, and broader geopolitical changes, these dynamics are shifting, likely leading to new partnerships in sub-Saharan Africa. Energy is a focal point, with Gulf states establishing investment platforms like Masdar's Infinity and forming partnerships such as Qatar's collaboration with Enel, an Italian green energy company. The UAE recently declared $4.5 billion in clean energy investments in Africa, aligning with the Etihad 7 initiative, aiming to provide clean electricity to 100 million people by 2035. Lake Turkana, Africa's largest operating wind farm, plays a significant role in this initiative, contributing to Kenya's goal of achieving 100% renewable power by 2030. Mining has also become a shared interest for Gulf countries, with Saudi Arabia's state-backed venture eyeing mining stakes valued at $15 billion in countries such as the DRC, Guinea, and Namibia. This strategy aims to secure access to vital metals crucial for energy transition and aligns with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 development of its mining industry. The UAE's Emirates Global Aluminium, for instance, has invested over $1.4 billion in a Guinean bauxite mine, contributing to the domestic economy and securing a critical mineral supply. Gulf states are increasingly influential in infrastructure development, focusing on connecting Africa through ports and logistics hubs. The UAE, particularly through state-owned DP World, leads in port development with projects spanning several African nations. Food security is another critical area of interest for GCC countries, as they import approximately 85% of their food. Investments in Africa began in earnest after the 2007 and 2008 global food price crisis, with a focus on agricultural land and commodity production. In the coming years, environmental, social, and governance investing will gain importance, but financing these ambitious partnerships in Africa will remain a significant challenge. Addressing issues such as political risk, regulatory complexity, and environmental concerns is crucial. But one thing is certain: the Middle Eastern countries are now knowing about true African potential. They are more than ready to tap into the resources and opportunities the African continent has, growing mutually, way different than how the Western country is cooperated with Africa. What do you think? Will Congo's trade cooperation with the UAE allow it to earn higher export revenues? Isn't it true that Congo can leverage Dubai's international trade hub status to sell its products throughout the world? In the comment section right below, let us know your thoughts on whether it's a good move by Congo to turn to the Middle East. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.